Hi, welcome back. Second episode of Forensic Foreplay. I am your host, DeeDee. Thank you for joining me. We're going to get into it tonight. Holy bananas. This is going to be bonkers. I'm actually currently sending out links to everybody so they know to tune in. We are rolling. This is so exciting. So much going on with the true crime realm for the last couple of weeks. It was absolutely bonkers. So let's get into it. I'm sure everybody's been keeping up, or maybe you haven't, about the sudden death of Bob Saget. He played Danny Tanner in Full House in the early 90s, being a Gen Xer. This was a staple in my house. We never missed an episode. And, when I was in, an early teen, I thought he was just he was just awesome. I really thought he was just the dude. There's me. It was just, everybody loved him. Everybody loved Danny Tanner. And you love the fact that he was a single dad, and you've got all these beautiful little girls, and he was just so wholesome. But was he? No, like what we see with most, like with the Hollywood, how things go, nothing is ever as it seems. You fall in love with a character, you fall in love with a certain role, and that's not who they are. That's who they're paid to be, because that's not a real person, that's a character. So that person you see in front of you on the screen is fake. They don't exist. Just like I'm a Superman girl. I love Superman. I love Henry Cavill as Superman. But he's fake. He's not real. So with the death of Bob Saget on January 25th, I think it really kind of just was like one of those, whoa. And going over it was so early on, you really could not, there was a lot. But honestly, in my conspiratorial mind, I was like, did he get the Fauci ouchie? I mean, 65 is still fairly young. I mean, and from what we know, he didn't have any underlying conditions. There wasn't any prescription drugs, but he did test positive for COVID. That's what I thought was weird, because here he's doing stand-up in a room full of hundreds of people, and he had COVID. How do you do that? I don't understand. I don't know. Don't even ask. And, I really didn't think much into Bob Saget's death until I got the autopsy report. Of course, not me personally. It was released online. Anybody can get a hold of it. And the fracture to the back of the noggin, it was like in the back here. And then there was another hit along the temple, and then a fracture up here between the eyes. So it's like, wow. Granted, I know that Bob was 6'4". He was a tall dude. But there's been so many dudes that are in, and I honestly, I've got a fella that I absolutely fucking love. I have his book, and he actually touched up on this very issue with Bob Saget. His name is Dr. Darren Wolf. He's fucking awesome. He's on TikTok. You need to go look him up because he's bomb. The issue with the multiple fractures, like if it was just one crack in the back of the noggin, I would be like, okay, maybe he fainted in the shower. Maybe did he hit his head? Maybe like shutting the trunk when those fancy schmancy cars, the trunks will automatically close before you're even out of it. And he could have been hit in the head, but we're talking multiple skull fractures. And, I thought, well, for him to get those, you have to have your head be basically a ping pong ball between your toilet and your sink, back and forth, back and forth. And then I was like, well, we know Bob Saget's dirty. We know about those roasts and his comical acts. He's raunchy, and honestly, in my opinion, And in my opinion, for entertainment purposes only, I think he was raunchy and he was disgusting. But that's just my opinion. You can think of him as you will. Now, there's a lot of rumors. There's a lot of rumors. The rumors going around on all these forms of social media, whether it's TikTok or Facebook, YouTube. We have got creators going bonkers over all this new stuff. So I'm going to bring on my co-host, John. Where you at?
I'm here. Hey,
mister.
I'm just listening intently, so I can be an innocent bystander and act like the person who doesn't know anything. I'm really good at that.
So, yeah, all the chatter about Bob Saget. I don't even honestly. It's so hard for me to keep personal opinions to myself because I'm not a fan of the guy.
You don't want to get us sued on our second episode.
No, I do not. But this is why we say for, all alleged entertainment purposes only, in my opinion, they can't come for me. We're just going by the chatter we're hearing online, our own brainstorming, and the sudden knee-jerk reaction from his wife.
Really? What is that? And this might be a good time where I put this banner up on the bottom. Conspiracy theories are for entertainment purposes only. So
yes,
this is an entertainment show, and we don't have any money. So if you're thinking about suing us, wait a few years when we get to be big time and we're making a bunch of money on here.
They're going to have to come from. I'll have to sell my eggs, and right now it's 44. It's like you get a buck for a dozen.
You need a baker's dozen to get one that's good, right? Hey. So what did Bob Saget's wife do? Has she said anything?
All I got so far was her going to the judges and putting everything on a lockdown. She wants it quiet on pretty much everything. Don't talk about it. We're not going to talk about it. She doesn't want anything released. Mum's the word. And with the details that we've gotten up to this point, I am really kind of wondering if there aren't some secrets.
Yeah, it's sort of lining up that way.
If it were my husband, I would be like, show me some footage, show me some cameras, who was coming in, who was coming out, because 3 skull fractures is not a fall in the bathtub. It is not a trip and fall on the sidewalk. This is something else.
So where did they find him?
They found him deceased in his hotel bed at the Ritz-Carlton. I think it was Orlando, Florida. And when they found him, he was like back of the noggin towards the pillow, hand like he was just he was asleep.
So what you think that he looked like he was placed there?
I think maybe it was a little stage because I don't know anybody that falls asleep like this.
Cinderella does.
And Sleeping Beauty. But no, it just seems a little odd. It's just odd for you to have the crack back here along the temple and along the frontal lobe right here around it was around the brow bone right here.
So I don't want to be gross or anything, but wasn't there like a lot of blood involved with this? Because a lot of head wounds are bloody, right?
Now you would think that head wounds are bloody. Now, being the true crime mind and heavily investigating and very, very heavily invested in the JonBenet Ramsey case, she had a skull fracture about this long down the back of her little skull. There was no blood.
It
cracked her skull like an egg. That was a blunt smack, whether it was a flashlight, a golf club. I couldn't even say it was them smashing her head into something. She had been thwacked. But there was no blood.
Okay. See, there you go. I did not know that because I know I've hit my head before and it bled a whole lot. Now, I didn't have a concussion or anything.
You have to bust that skin. You have to bust it.
So how do
Right?
you? Never mind. I don't
But
even want to know. How do
normally,
you hit somebody without that to
but
kill them and not break the
here's the
skin?
thing. If you bust the head open, that allows for swelling, right? It will allow, for, yes, if head bleeds are always the worst because you've got, you know, all the things up in the noggin. And if you bust that head open, that does allow for swelling. But if it's not busted open, if it's just cranial damage and there's no way to expand on that swelling, this is where you have a lot of issues where nothing
Okay.
is able to just swell and then go down. It's almost like, oh my gosh, y'all need to get this book. I want to get this book.
Get that book. Yeah, that's what I really need to know about head injuries. I've
He is
made it this
awesome.
long in my
I
life.
love Dr. Wolf. But if you think about it, when you have a wound and you've got it is so extreme and severe, and there's no way to let that swell and expand. It's just compacted.
So he
Right.
could have been put there, sort of knocked out, and then died later, or And hey, audience, if you're watching and you have questions like I do, hey, feel free to put them in the chat here, and I'll put them up on the screen, and we'll see if DeeDee can answer them. So he could have still been alive but knocked out and then died later, or what?
I
Do they have a timeline?
I don't think it was soon, but I don't think it was like immediate. I think it was probably within just a few hours.
Okay. Wow, that's weird. That's weird. So yeah, it was just surprising to read the headlines that Bob Saget died, and I couldn't remember how old he was. I mean, he's a little
65.
older than me. Yeah.
65.
So yeah, that's it. So what else we might know from this?
Honestly, this is just one of those, you can't let your conspiratorial mind get away from you, because I have 100.
Okay. Well, what about the Hollywood connection? I think there was something to do with that, right?
A little bit. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. If this wasn't, just in my opinion, if this was an Illuminati hit, it would have been a scarf to the doorknob, in my opinion.
Scarves. That's a whole other subject. I don't know about either. So, but what about this right here?
Have you ever heard of the red scarf to the doorknob?
Oh, yeah,
Mr.
no.
Bennington, Chris Cornell, Robin Williams.
Wait a second. Have you been watching movies like Bob Saget's wife? She watched a bunch of Godfather movies. And what about that deal in that podcast? What's that all about?
Well, that was their podcast where he flat out, they were going back and forth to movies that they really enjoyed watching together. And, she was like, well, I like this, I like that. And she loved, obviously, gangster movies. And he says, well, I'm going to be dead in the bed in a month. I'm going to be found dead. So this is your favorites. This is what you have to give me.
He only missed it by about October. He only missed it by 4 months. Actually, wow.
He did that in December.
Ooh, I thought the podcast was actually in October, though. Is that correct? No, it's December. Oh, wow. That's right away. So, So maybe you think the wife's going to lawyer up at some point?
I don't know. We'll lawyer up.
Yeah.
She's got some
hey, I got some rabbit holes. You want to go in the rabbit holes? I got them. So what about this one? I'm gonna put this one up here. What's all this about?
Well, this is here. Put up the picture of the limousine.
Okay, let's do that. Okay, there you go. I don't know if we can zoom in on that one, but
can you zoom in?
I can't. You have to tell us what it says.
I'm gonna pull it up. Hold on. Ooh. Let me see. Okay. The license plate on that car is MSMP2. Okay. I'm going to try to, you probably can't even see it because there we go.
Oh, I can say that's better than what.
There we go.
I got it. Hey, nice nail polish, by the way.
Huh?
Nice nail polish, by the way.
Oh, I did them myself.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Okay. And
is that Texas blue?
No, it's lavender.
Lavender. Oh, yes. Lavender. Yes. Yeah.
So we've got MSNP2. Now this is the back of the hearse. And that is his casket in the back, right? And you've got people hugging and they're so sad. Boo-hoo. Yeah, I get it. Okay. And then there is when you Google MSMP, this is a Morningstar Productions. Okay, it's an LLC. And you can then go ahead and pull up with what I sent you.
There you go.
You've got all of those. Okay. That's what's creepy.
So Lucifer Morningstar there's actually a Netflix called Lucifer, and the dude's name's Lucifer Morningstar. Huh? What's that? Is there any connection to that?
I haven't even watched it. I have not.
Oh, I watched it all. It was very interesting show. I mean, it was almost like it was just very interesting. You know, they tried to make I don't know. It would just try to make him. Trying to make the devil look sexy is what it looked like to me, which, you know, maybe he is. That's how they get you in some stupid things. So that's just very interesting. So there's a lot to this case that's probably still going to unfold, right? Because I just heard about the podcast with his wife today. So just people start to dig.
Why don't you roll that TikTok I sent you?
All right, let me get this one off of here. Now, let's see. Here you go. Let's watch this.
He reports it's likely that comedian Bob Saget hit his head on the headboard of his bed before his death at this hotel in Orlando, striking the unpadded part of the headboard. A medical examiner's report revealed Saget died from blunt head trauma, likely from an unwitnessed fall backwards. But the public may not learn any more about the Full House star's death. A judge has now granted Saget's family a temporary injunction, blocking the public release of any photos, videos, or other records related to the investigation.
That's suspicious.
But today, there's a new theory emerging. As Bob Saget returned to his hotel at 2:17 in the morning, it's possible he could have banged his head on the frame of his car or on the lid of his trunk. After all, Bob Saget was 6'5", so you could see how he could hit his head in such. There are also several places in his hotel room where he might have struck his head in a slip and fall. A marble table, a wooden desk, shower fittings, or the tile floor. Experts are questioning the autopsy findings today.
There is no hotel room I've ever stayed in that would allow for a fall significant enough to cause this kind of head injury. This is the kind of injury that might occur from a traffic accident, might occur from an assault, might occur from a fall down a flight of stairs.
Head trauma specialist Dr. Robert Duarte studied the autopsy report. This wasn't just a little bump on the head, right?
Exactly. There were fractures in the base of the skull, in the occipital region, the temporal region. There was also fractures in the front, above the eye, on both sides of the skull.
So even though we're hearing he hit his head on the back of his head, it caused fractures in 3 places, even the front.
Talk about how they love to snuggle up in bed. And that's when he made that eerie prediction.
So I don't have long to live. These are your favorites. I'm going to be found dead in bed.
You better watch out.
In the driveway. What? Oh my
Police
God.
investigation is now closed, so the mystery may never be solved.
And I've been
Oh, that's funny right there. Did Killary get him? Wow, that's crazy. That's something else.
That was everyone. Honestly, John, that was one of my first thoughts.
Well, when she said you better watch out, I mean, I have a psychology degree, and when she said you better watch out and looked away, OMG.
What did she know?
I mean, it's like, what's going on with that? And it looked like he was clearly kidding, maybe. So
can we take like 2 minutes? I have got to pee.
Oh, okay. This is a first on live TV. Hey, I got a comment here from somebody.
Oh, God.
Okay. Well, you're peeing, so make sure you shut the door. He was on Epstein's flight log. Is that true? Is that true that he was on Epstein's flight log? Well, hey, when the host of the show gets back, you should never leave me alone without a host, because I'll say dumb things. But and I don't think I watched one episode of Full House. So, hey, I had my own kids back then. I had my own Full House. I had 4 kids in the 90s. So we watched Barney and SpongeBob. That's what we watched. We didn't watch any Full House at all. But I've just been this is one of these cases I think is going to probably get some more legs, and people are going to see some more things come out in the near future. And we actually Dee had a different show lined up for tonight, and decided that, hey, let's look at this one. So let's all right. So while you were gone, I hope you're okay. I hate to see you pee your pants live on air, but he was on Epstein's flight log. Is that true? That's true. Yeah,
Yes.
don't leave me alone by myself again. I'm very insecure. And then here, you should watch the roast of Bob Saget. It's quite
Saget.
telling.
That
So-
roast was actually with Gilbert Godfrey, and it is
Gilbert Godfrey. Oh
absolutely-
yeah.
I again another one of those. He makes me sick to my stomach. He gives me the creeps. I get all sorts of weird feels in my belly watching Gilbert Godfrey. Not only he's not funny, he's not cute, he's horribly obnoxious, but that roast was absolutely just
Raunchy. It was raunchy roast. Just sad. Yeah, well, and some of those roasts, I mean, they really get like they start
They
actually
dig
you
down.
wonder what's true. It's like, oh, maybe they are
dig
mad
down
at each
deep
other.
into your grandmother's grave.
That's
That's
not
how
like
deep those roasts go.
It's not like that. Oh, wait a second. Is this your friend Clara? Is that
That is my daughter.
Oh, that's your daughter? Oh yeah, she's pretty like you. I see that. So
Thank you.
So yeah, you may want to have her on the co-host. She's way better looking than I am.
It was more than raunchy. It was absolutely.
So wait a second. How old is your daughter? Is she old enough to be watching raunchy stuff?
Yes, she is over 21.
What? Okay, all right. Did she? But see, this Bob Saget thing's been out for a while.
I'm a little bitch. And my oldest kiddo is almost 27. So
she said she's 21.
She's 21. She turned 21.
I want to see some ID. I don't believe you. Like, well, here in Indiana, they card everybody, so I feel flattered when I go in to get something at the liquor store. They card me. So, but yeah. So who's 26? Oh, the oldest one.
That's my oldest kiddo. Yeah.
Okay, man. You certainly don't look that old, but anyway.
Thank you.
Back to the story. Come on, what do we got here? What's next?
And this is where whenever, if you think about it, you just put facts together. If it was my husband, just theoretically speaking, if it was me and my husband was found deceased in his bed with there was no drugs, no alcohol, so there was no oopsie doopsie. I took a couple of shots in my Ambien. There was none of that. But with the multiple fractures and with all the questions, and everybody is like, there's obviously something else going on here. How his family and his daughters, and I sent you a picture of one of those daughters. I feel so bad for her. Like not everybody was blessed.
A good producer would have that picture ready for you, but I could draw a stick figure on there. But hey, you know what? This is
the one daughter he always had pictures with. He always took pictures with that one kid. Well, she obviously was the favorite. But you would think, being a spouse, that you would be pulling out all the stops. I want camera footage. I want, why was there no fingerprints? Why was nothing done? Well, of course, this was January 25th. So they could not go into that room and get fingerprints or DNA right now. It's been almost a month.
Yeah. Well, we know some other cases of husband and wife issues that there's not been a lot of effort.
We do. His trial's in May.
Hey, we're not talking about that yet. It's like, but that's all right.
His friends,
I can't comment. I can't comment on that. So, but speaking of personal stuff, though, I actually had a fraternity brother. I'm not going to mention a name. That he had some drinking problems, and he was sort of trying to work some things out, and checked into a hotel and fell and hit his head and bled to death in the hotel room. So he bled out. 40. Yeah. See, that's why I was asking that question. So,
but whenever,
it was tragic. I mean,
now, if let's just say, oh gosh, and I'm not even a medical person. My son he was a Navy medic, so he would be able to help me out so much. Let's say okay, for an example, okay, you see this nasty burn right here. It's nasty. I made the most amazing chicken stir fry for my husband a couple of weeks ago. It was wonderful, but guess what? I burned the shit out of my arm.
It looked like DeeDee stir fries. What that was?
This was a DeeDee stir fry. Yeah. And what happened was it bubbled up. I had an instant blister. that skin expanded and it was allowed to burst to release, all the excess fluid. So therefore, I'm healed. I've got a scar, but it's healed. But whenever you crack the skull so hard, literally, it's like a crack in the pavement. And there is since that skin or that cartilage was not severed to allow that room for swelling to bleed outward, he bled
inward. Oh, that's bad.
Am I making more sense now? Now that I can think clearly.
I hate
but you're catching my drift.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay.
Hey, your daughter's asking a question here. She's our leading questioner. What's the Duggar trial? What's that?
Oh my gosh, nasty, disgusting Joshua Duggar.
But can we find some good murderers? I mean, I'm tired of these
Oh
sad
gosh,
ones.
the constant. Oh, did you hear about the 911 dispatcher out of Indiana?
On what? Is that about the Delphi murders, which is sort of close to home here?
I cannot say definite yes or no, but we're starting to see a path being waved here. There's a lot of connections. You've got a gentleman out there that is in prison. His name is Keegan. He had some contact with Libby before the murder.
Is that the one that had the fake account and
yes.
Okay, yes. This is where we get to put our thing up there again. This is for entertainment, our disclaimer, because we don't have any money on this show. So if you're coming after us, you need to think twice because we don't have anything. But
there's so much, and that's the one case that I honestly have. I don't even up until recently, I did not have my own show. All my research and everything was just for me, just for my own conscience. And I think that just in my gut instinct, just for entertainment purposes, allegedly.
Yeah. I'll put the banner back up there. I'm not scared.
I honestly think that this is bigger than what they thought.
Oh, really?
I do. And
it's amazing they actually have pictures and
this is not going to be some CP fat, in the trailer park. This is somebody, this is a ring. You've got big money and you've got the little people that are going to do what they're told. And
I have a case here that's I've had a guy reach out to me about sex trafficking and some pretty high up politicians, and they tried to murder him and all that. I may have
that dude you told me about.
Yeah, so we may want to look at that one. And with the stuff that's been coming out here lately, with Trump being spied on and the Durham report and some other things, it's really, you start worrying about that Epstein didn't kill himself type of questions and stuff.
Can I tell you something?
Sure.
I need to put that banner back up.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have it on speed dial here. There we go.
There's a whistleblower. And Donald Trump is not the saint that people think he is. And I can say that I voted for the bastard. I've watched my husband go to bat for him. No, never.
Okay,
again.
All right. I would agree. I do have. This is the proof I have. So if you watch Fear City, it's a movie about Rudy Giuliani when he took down the crime factory,
the reason why they call
crime
him
families.
Giuliani.
But listen, the crime families, they had anything over $2 million that was being built in New York. You had to go through the union because they had the contract and they had the labor unions.
That's right.
What was being built back at that time? Trump Tower. So I mean, hey, it's like Rodney Dangerfield in Back to School when they talk about the economics. Well, first you got to grease the politicians' hands, then you got to pay off the inspectors. Then
wait a minute,
it was mafia.
What year was that?
Well, he built Trump Tower in the 70s or 80s, and that's
would that be around the time that Jimmy Hoffa disappeared? No!
Wait, I'm glad I still got the conspiracy thing rolling because we need it. Yeah.
Would that be right?
Yeah, I'm telling you, this there's so many secrets. It's like, what you think about it. It goes all the way back to the what was the baby, the Lindbergh baby or whatever that was
Charles
kidnapped.
Lindbergh.
Yeah, it's like that was in the 30s, and they never found out what happened. So I don't
There's
know.
a conspiracy behind that. That's another one.
Oh, I know. There's a conspiracy behind all this
I
stuff.
cannot
It's
talk
like
about the Lindbergh baby without freaking bawling. Oh my gosh.
it's almost as bad as Baby Watson. That was the baby that they experimented with back in the 20s. Dr. Watson, psychologist, and they trained the baby to be afraid of clowns. And he was a behavioral psychologist, and he basically taught, and Bandurus and Young later on, they did the same thing. They would have the parent come in and punch a clown dummy, and then they'd leave and then take the parent out, and the kid would go over and punch the clown dummy. So it's all about,
gosh.
That's why we have a lot of these rules on experiments and stuff. So, yeah, but there's actually a thing of where is Baby Watson now? And that was because they never did identify. It was just,
have you done any digging on the Russian sleep experiment?
I don't do any dig. That's what your job is. I'm just here to be the person that asks questions. Okay. I've dug nothing.
That one will blow your mind. If you want to do a whole show on conspiracies, I got you.
I think that's what pretty much our show is. So we're going to sprinkle in some facts here every once in a while. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see your daughter. I think your daughter needs to be the host. So that would be Bob Saget has ties to the Freemasons.
I would say no, because this is a whole different degree, because Bob Saget was Jewish. And I'm honestly thinking that Freemasons, well, then again, you've got your Rothschilds, your Illuminatis, and you've got your Knights of Templars, your Freemasons, all the things.
I thought those were just movies.
No, what?
I'm just a naive person from Indiana. I don't know these things.
But because my husband's grandfather was a 33rd degree Mason. And yes. And whenever he told me that before we were going to get married, I said, I am not marrying you. Because I was so weirded out about the Masons. I was so creeped out.
Okay, so my dad was a Mason, and I'm actually a bricklayer. I'm actually a real life Mason. So
right. You're like that. You're that hard worker. You're that blue collar, blood, sweat, and tears. I have respect for that. The
other Masons, though, they wanted me to join because I had tons of people say, you need to join, and now you could join the Masons, the Scottish Rite, and the Shriners all in one day.
Don't do it.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna. They couldn't talk me into it. You're definitely talking me out of it.
You're just beholden to somebody else. Somebody else owns you, and you don't want to feel like you owe someone. So just so you can.
I wouldn't laugh at that. Hey, I did do Demole. Have you ever heard of Demole? I think that's a precursor to the Masons.
I've never heard of that.
It's like for kids, junior kids. All I remember was a lot of memorization, and I wasn't very good at memorizing stuff, so it took me forever to get through it.
That's so crazy.
I had some good friends in there. When you're young, you don't really think about all that extra side noise that there is. So
no, but I do not, according to I'm answering my daughter's question. I do not think that Bob Saget was with the Freemasons. He's on a total different level. Either this was an Illuminati I'm going to come to collect, or this was Mr. Saget for alleged entertainment purposes only, being irresponsible and calling in a cowboy, and he got his head bashed in. I want to know, was there money in his wallet? Was there a watch? Was it taken? Was there anything stolen? Because nothing was taken into account. No cameras there was no surveillance. Was he robbed?
Well, the other thing is, how much do you think the police and investigators are going to respect the family's wishes to keep it quiet? I mean, because how they got TMZ and entertainment. You got all these people prying, and not to mention you. I mean, you'll dig right in there on that thing.
Because I'm freaking nosy. No, I honestly think they're going to do what the family wants because this is big money. And you've got, even though, well, honestly, Bob Saget was the name to fame for that family. So now that he's gone, they don't have any fame. He's the fame, and he's 6 feet under in Mount Sinai, Beverly Hills. Nobody is born or dies in Beverly Hills because there is no hospitals. I didn't know if you knew that. But this is there.
Well, what happened to Jed
The fame
Clampett?
is gone. It's gone. It went down with Bob Saget. The wife is not famous. I don't know if she's done any movies.
Okay,
her.
I got a question though. Wouldn't that rule her out? Why would she kill the golden goose?
Probably because he probably had at least $15 million on life insurance policy.
Oh, you think so, huh? Okay.
If she had anything to do with it, it was for life insurance. It had to. Well, yeah, because like he was the breadwinner.
Yeah, I know. So
she was,
and even though she looked down in that video, it could have been just a private conversation.
Psychology. I'm a housewife. I don't know shit.
Yeah, I know,
but
you got to look at the layers of that. Just because she looked down, it may have been just because she was a little bit embarrassed because it was a private conversation.
Or she was uncomfortable. They were live. They were live.
No, I know, but I'm talking about they had that private conversation previously, and he sort of exposed her on the air a little bit. It could have been more of an embarrassing thing because I wouldn't say 100%. Oh, she, but that made it. Yeah, that made her look. She was a little more shameful.
If my husband would have said something like that to me, I would have been like, where are you getting this? Is there something going on? Have you been threatened? What are you not telling me? But she's like, oh, you better watch it. Are you joking me right now? That's not normal behavior for a wife that says, I do, in sickness and in health till death do us part. And she's like, oh, you better be careful. Oh, I'm calling bullshit. I'm calling bull doo-doo.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, if there's anybody's going to figure this thing out, it'll be you. So, your daughter talks about TMZ and announcing it before the police do. Well, you think about it. How much does the police pay you to do it? And how much does TMZ? They pay some big money, don't they?
I don't know if you remember, because granted, holy crap, this was 26 years ago, 25 years ago. It was TMZ that announced Princess Diana's death before anybody else.
Yeah, so they were paying good money even back then for information.
What I honestly kind of wondered, was it TMZ's paparazzi chasing Lady Di? But
I see.
Man. Were they there? But I was a very young mother. My ex-husband was in Korea at the time, and I had no friends. So my conspiratorial, this is before we even had the internet. So I was like, what's going on here? It was crazy.
I heard
she was chased by the paparazzi. So I was thinking, was TMZ one of those paparazzi? I had so many thoughts going through my head.
Poor Lady Di. She got hounded like crazy. I heard a little like New York accent coming out in there. What is that? The wine speaking, or what was that? You said
No. Oh gosh, because I was an army wife for so long, and I've been to so many places. I have a slew of dialects that just consume my brain. Like my husband makes fun of me. That fucker makes fun of me. Because how I say certain words, because I've lived in Washington, I've lived near Chicago, I've lived near Fort Stewart, Georgia, in Kentucky. Like I've lived so many places, and now here in Texas, I have a mix. I'm a dialect mutt.
So we'll have to do a all accent show one time. I could do a Scottish accent then, but sometimes it sounds Australian.
I can throw out a Brit faster than anybody. Let me tell you now. Nobody beats a Brit faster than me. No, it's just crazy. No, because I've lived in so many places, and you tend to absorb accents, and it's just a stew of a dialect. And
my wife, she's from Arkansas, and she sticks around with her friends for about a week, and the next thing you know, it's hillbilly city.
And I do, and I pick up on accents really quick. Now, my brother is married to, his wife is from like deep South Louisiana.
Oh, bless your heart.
Oh my gosh. And for the longest time, I thought there was something wrong with her. I thought she had a speech impediment. I honestly did not think that people actually talk. They call it French. And I'm like,
Oui.
No, it's not that we. There, it's
Pray
like it's a swamp dialect, and it took me a long time to get used to her. I couldn't understand her. Not for the life of me.
I had another fraternity brother. One more story, and we're going to land this airplane here.
Wasn't that?
Yep. So we have his wife was from Lake Charles, Louisiana, and she
had that out there.
Had that real slow Southern talk. And man, they would laugh because I talk really fast and she talked really slow. And then she just would look at me because I'd say the craziest things. She just look at me. And it's I don't know what's the matter with that boy.
Oh yeah. They do talk a little bit slower. They have a longer drawl a little bit.
Oh yeah. It's like they're both attorneys, so watch out. Don't say anything bad about her. They'll probably sue me, my own friend.
For alleged entertainment purposes, don't come.
Let's put that up one more time. I'll make some more banners. I'll make like 3 different ones for us that we can use. So, all right. Well, let's see. Do we have what's our next show thing or whatever? Hold on, we got one more comment.
We can. I can go by the seat of my pants. Whatever. We can talk about conspiracies. We can talk about, well, I do know there was a lot of trafficking going on with the Super Bowl this year. That's really nasty. We'll talk about anything. I'm down. I've got a case on backup. I always have an extra case. We can do updates on Delphi. It's hard for me to get through that without balling.
Yeah, and they have the dude's voice a little bit. I mean, there's just something. It's just, it's almost like they know they got a good idea who they think it is, but they just don't have enough.
They have a roundabout idea, but they don't have enough. And here's the thing. It's almost like the same situation with Morph. You know, that fucker in Colorado.
We'll get to that one.
And honestly, John, between me and you, he's going to walk.
I just got that feeling. He's got some pretty good lawyers and
he changed venue. He's now out near Cannon City. It's so weird because I lived out that way when I was in my teens. I was a new Army wife, and I looked at a rental house out near Cannon City.
Fort Collins, is that where?
Yes. That whole community. It's strange.
Yeah, but okay, let's look at that real quick, and then I don't want to do extra shows, but we got a couple of viewers here, so we'll keep it going. And people will watch this after. We have a lot of people watching some shows. Yes, we have a lot of people that watch afterwards. They just put it on as a podcast. Mm-hmm. But you think about it. Whatever happens on this thing, he's going to probably end up broke.
I think. Well, he's going to end up broke. But he's going to end up a free man. In the state of Colorado, and I know, and I know what really went down here. It's not that freaking hard, but in the state of Colorado, it is very, very difficult to determine a guilty verdict when you have no body.
Yeah, and it's like, even the locals out there would say, well, if you're going to kill your wife, move to Colorado. Yeah. I mean, think about the cases there are out there. I mean, wasn't John Benet Ramsey there in Colorado? And then you have Chris Watts and
oh my gosh. Oh, I have been researching this case for 30 years. I lived out that way when she was murdered. I lived in Colorado.
Did you ever have an idea who you thought it was?
I do. I have an idea. I know. And honestly,
hold on. I'm going to put the banner back up. I thought I was done with that, but okay, there you go. You're safe now.
With the John Benet Ramsey case. Now, and okay, this is where I'm going to burn. And I don't like the guy. I can't stand the guy. I think he's a grifter, but Lynn Wood was the Ramsey's attorney. Okay. Lynn Wood. He, back in the day, 30 years ago, the guy was an amazing attorney. He was very quick. Now, because law enforcement had honed in on the parents, they had tunnel vision. When you are invested in a case, you get tunnel vision and you just hone in on one person. And you're like, there's nobody else. it's the family. It's got to be the mom. It's got to be the dad. It's got to be the brother. No,
I don't think it was. Do you?
Huh?
I don't think it was anybody in the family. Do you?
No. In fact, the person that murdered that little girl had a key to their house. He babysat for her. He drove her to dance class. He was a part of a radical leftist group at the Boulder College. His initials are N. I'm trying because he's got a Japanese last name. ENYOU. First name is Nathan. That's all I'm going to say. First name is Nathan.
Okay, I got that thing up there. So, like I said,
First
we don't
name
have
is
any money on this show yet. Wait till we get money, then sue us. But right now, we're cool.
But you know what?
All right.
He's a teacher.
Ooh.
He hasn't done anything since. He has not committed any laws. Nothing.
Not even a jaywalk. Huh?
This was a political hatred toward John Ramsey himself.
All right. Wow. This is
Why
people got to be so mean? We wouldn't have a show if they weren't.
Everybody have to be so mean.
Why they got to be so mean? Well, hey, let's wrap this thing up here.
Yes, sir.
We'll be back. It's always going to be the third Friday of the month, so you'll have a whole month to think about what we're doing next because we aren't telling you. Right? No. This is a mystery. It's a mystery show. So. Hey, go ahead and sign us off here, and I'll play the end.
Okay. Y'all take care. Thanks for joining.